right, hang on. I gotta push my mirrors out. Hang on one second, sorry. Excuse me. Van life stuff. Hang on. I gotta go over here. There we go. Okay. There's my knee, there's my head, there's me. Hey! Round of applause. Okay, so since I'm doing videos every day now, yeah, so on the last video, which was 45 minutes ago, I made it back to the van, and now I am getting out of the parking lot. I got back right at sunset. That was such a good ride. I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep really well tonight. But now I'm gonna go drive 15 minutes to Tasty Pot. And actually, you know, for a 6-hour bike ride, it actually felt easier than a 6-hour drive. Like 6-hour drive, I'm like bored out of my mind, but it went by so quickly. Like it just flew by. So yeah, nobody broke in. That was good. This is great. I think people, you know, obviously every place has danger and trouble spots and all that stuff, but everybody gives Albuquerque a bad rap. It's like, yes, it does have the cartel. Yes, we do have Breaking Bad people, like Breaking Bad and bad people. But for the most part, what I found from living on this planet for 47 years and going to 90 countries and 48 states and living in Houston for 13 years, which is more violent than any other city I've ever lived in, usually the people that are causing the problems don't want to make you the problem. So that's usually what the deal is. It's like, as long as you don't become their problem, you're not going to have a problem. So, but yes, I mean, if you do encounter problems, figure out a way to get out of the bad situation or out of the trouble spot or the location you're at where you should probably not be there. But there's been many times where I've traveled and suddenly a war broke out. And I was like, well, shit, when I was a journalist. But yeah, then it was my job to report on it. So I looked at the world differently in that, you know, I had a press pass, so that made it easier to get access to things and a little bit more protection, a little bit more peace of mind. But also traveling solo for the last 5 years, 77 countries on top of that by myself. It's like, you know, I use Opsec, operational security and situational awareness. Don't flaunt your wealth. And you know, a lot of like women travelers will be like, oh, you should wear like a wedding ring. I said, okay, but if I'm going to go to India, which I've been to twice by myself, and I backpacked across India and I rode a motorcycle across India from like Mumbai to Goa, and the first time I went from New Delhi to Calcutta overlanding for like a couple months, wearing a wedding ring in a country and where you're walking around without your husband is actually probably a worse situation, because the expectation is that, well, where's your husband? If you're married, you should have your husband with you. There's a lot of countries that have the belief that you should be traveling with your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, don't wear a wedding ring. You know, it doesn't make someone less predatory, because actually you're probably more of a target because your husband isn't with you. So they would assume that you don't have anyone to protect you. So I don't think that's a really like a good idea to wear a wedding ring. I've never worn a wedding ring. I've also never had any issues with, I've had a few like close kidnappings and stuff, you know, like, just to be honest, in like Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur, in Tokyo, but it's always like the same character. It's the same type of person, and I don't mean necessarily like the person, how they look, or their ethnicity, or their country of origin. It's their same mannerism, and it doesn't really matter what country or ethnicity they are. They're male. You know, I don't get hit on by women. I've only been hit on by like one woman, and that was in a bar in San Francisco about 20 years ago. It was a gay bar, lesbian bar, and I just wanted to go play pool, and this girl was like flirting with me, and I was like, nah, don't like women. And she's like, that's cool, you want to play pool? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And we had a really good game of pool, and I kicked her ass, she kicked my ass, but not like in a romantic way. So but I was like, I don't like women, you know. I mean, I think women are beautiful, you know, I think they're attractive, but I don't want to go out with them, because then like what happens is your period starts sinking. And I'm like, I don't know, I had that in the army. Like suddenly after about a month we all had our periods in sync, and it was miserable. So I don't know how you girls do it, but more power to you. Love is love. Yeah, so, but no, I like men that look like men. So older men, I don't like younger men. So not that anyone cares. I don't actually want to go out with anyone. I miss Jeff. I like Jeff, and I want Jeff to come back. Anyway, moving on. I'm gonna go to Tasty Pot. Yeah, really, really good ride. Really fantastic ride. I didn't even break a sweat. I don't even feel sore or anything, because it was a gradual downhill. There was the one big part at the beginning, if you go back and watch the video, or go watch it if you haven't watched it, there's one part like about 10 miles in or so when you get onto the county road, and it's a dirt road, and then there's about a mile where you're going uphill, and I was basically on like level 1 gear 1, so there's level 1 and 2 on my bike, so I was on the very like easiest gear you could possibly be on, and the rest of the ride I was on like the level 2 gear 7 or 8, so I was on the 2 most difficult gears most of the ride because it was a gradual downhill. But then you got that big rocky bit with the switchbacks, which I wish I had my full face helmet, my pads, my knee pads and elbow pads. I would have gone flying down that thing if I had my full suspension bike, but I walked down most of it. Then it was only maybe 2 miles, so I rode most of it, but I walked like the switchback area. But you went all the way down that whole thing, and then you were back on the road again. It was really beautiful. Went through some really cute little towns. I did not like going through, well, the Kiwa Pueblo, which you're not allowed to take photos or videos of the Pueblos. Sandia Reservation is fine because it's part of Albuquerque and it's got the casino, so obviously they're not going to stop people from taking photos. But when you're in the Pueblos, in Kiwa and the Pueblo of San Felipe, do not take video or photo even from the train. They tell you that, they announce it on the train, do not take photo or video. So I didn't. But I had these big scary dogs coming at me. Every single dog in the San Felipe Pueblo was off leash, angry, pissed off, big scary dog running right into oncoming traffic. A couple cars went off onto the shoulder. I was on the wrong side of the road trying to get away from a couple of these dogs, and I was riding with my feet up on the front fork so I could get my feet off the ground as much as possible so that they couldn't like bite my ankles. I was terrified. I don't like dogs anyway. I don't like dogs that are big scary barking dogs. But then I got into Sandia Reservation, and the Google Maps took me onto an neighborhood which was actually blocked off, and it was trespassing because I don't know why Google was sending me that way, and the road that they were going to send me on doesn't even exist anymore. It's all been blocked off with big no trespassing signs. So I backtracked and went down the main road, which was easier. But even there were big scary dogs behind fences. So I don't know if like that's just a given for the Pueblos and the reservations to have a big scary dog on your property. I don't know the science behind it, but I just know that I don't like big scary dogs, and I would like to get over. I'm on the 25 now. Now I'm driving. Okay, thank you, dude. See? I think they know me around town now. I think everyone's seen my van at some point. I see the van with the bike on the back. That was such a good ride. It was so much easier on the hardtail than it was on the full suspension when I did the whole like Durango to Silverton thing. I want to do a longer bike packing trip. I don't know if I can do a multi-day because I'd have to bring a tent and a sleeping bag, and it's kind of a little bit cold and there's snakes, and I don't really want to set up a tent. I don't even have a tent. I gave the tent away last year to one of the women's hiking group girls, and so I gave everything away. I even had rooftop cargo containers for my car, which I'll never use, which probably I could use. I don't know, I gave it away. But I'm in San Antonio. Oops, let me stop here. I'm like on adrenaline. I had such a good ride. Oh my god, like I'm glowing. Look at that, I'm glowing red. Actually, it's a stoplight. But yeah, there's Cracker Barrel right over here. I did fall one time on my bike. I was on one of the last washboard road before you get between Kiwa Pueblo and the Pueblo of San Felipe. There's a big, probably like 5 mile, 6 mile kind of gravel dirt road, and so I was riding on the edge of it where it was more sandy, impacted sand, and not so rocky and washboardy. And then I went to go get back onto the road part off the shoulder because there was some glass and stuff, and I kind of like skidded to the side, and I put this hand down, like landed right on this hand, and I think it's okay. I think the hand is healed now. It didn't seem like it broke again. The pin, if you see on the x-ray, the pin is inside my wrist. So it's inside the bone, so it's not going anywhere. It's not like it's protruding out through my skin. Such a good ride. I will definitely do it again. I don't think I'll have time or the ability to do it again before the end of the year. I might try to do it next week. If the weather is like this next week. It was a little cold this morning. When I got up, I was a little bit miserable that I didn't get to sleep in until 9 a.m. But getting up at 5 a.m. and getting out of bed at 6, having my breakfast, getting to the rail runner at 7 a.m. and the fact that it was free. The Rail Runner is, the Rail Runner train, the train is free at all times for military, retired military, active military, retired military, and veterans. And so I'm Army veteran, so it's free at all times. It's the Freedom, it's like the Freedom train or something. And I was so surprised, so I put $20 onto the app that I will never use because it's free. So that means that I can take, I wish I knew all this, and I've been here for 3 months, I had no idea. I could have been taking the train up to Santa Fe and going to hang out at the plaza like at least once a week for free. This whole day was free except for dinner, although I have a $15 coupon that I got for Tasty Pot. So I think the Tasty Pot's like $22, so dinner's going to cost me $7 plus tip. And I always tip for the full amount, not the discounted amount, otherwise it'll only be like a $2 tip. So I'm going to tip for whatever it is, $4. So $11 for dinner, I can do that. I'm going to treat myself. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even like feeling the muscle pain or anything because I was doing those 27-mile rides. Oh, this road is horrible. I was doing those 27-mile rides every day for the last, you know, couple weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe a month, since my rollerblades died. This is, I wore the wheels away. You know, just doubling that. Plus the fact that you go downhill a lot. I mean, there was a little bit of kind of like uphill toward the end. If you want to have a little bit easier ride, you can get on and off, or you can park at the one of the Pueblo stations and then just ride to that station. Or you can keep going like I did all the way to Sandia Pueblo, which means that you have to go up about 5 miles of a gradual incline uphill next to the 25. But after that you go downhill the rest of the way. So there was only really like 3 big kind of inclines. The biggest one was that dirt sand road on the 56 county road, I think it was. That was the biggest incline, but you just keep pedaling on the lowest gear. And then the second one was there was another climb like after the Pueblos, and then there was before the Pueblos, and there's one last climb at the end where you just go up the parallel to 25 on the frontage road. But they weren't difficult. Okay, so let me go find this Tasty Pot. It's very busy. And okay, let's go get a Mongolian hot pot. I gotta pee again. Hang on 1 second. Let me use the restroom back here. Okay, I'm relieved. All right, oh, it's cold. Let's get some well-deserved food, and then I'm gonna go to Smith's and get orange juice and what else that I need? Oh my God. Actually, I'm at Walmart too, but I don't need water. I need to get another water bottle, but I think it's not this Walmart. I think they have it at the other Walmart. I don't know. Oh my God, that's such a good ride. Oh, now my legs hurt. Oh, my legs are gonna hurt tomorrow. So yes, so I think, lock everything up. I think what I'm gonna do is not work out tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna sleep in, go to the gym anyway, maybe do 30 minutes on the stair climber just to stretch. All right, it's a whole process. So I've got to choose something off here. It's already like combined in the bowl. It's not like in Japan where everyone just puts in whatever they want. So they've got lamb, which actually looks really good. Yeah, so it's about $23, and then, hi, thank you. So yeah, so the lamb looks really good. I can't read anything, I don't have my glasses on. And then beef looks really good, but sometimes the beef is like the cheapest part of the beef. And then they've got Thai, kimchi, I don't like kimchi. Curry hot pot looks really good actually. That comes with king oyster mushrooms, corn, which you never really own, Japanese miso hot pot. Don't really want miso. This looks really good though. It's actually perfect for a cold day. And then you get to pick noodles or instant noodles, which is ramen, or udon. I want udon or rice cakes. She said rice or noodles. I'm like, I don't think there's rice. Like, you can't eat these bowls with rice in it. Like, it'll just float around. So I'll do no spice. And either I'm going to do lamb once I figure out what the rest of it says. I have to take a picture and zoom in, or I'll do the curry hot pot, which I think looks really good. And then on the back they have rice entrees, so they've got bulgogi beef, they've got some other stuff which also looks really good. So yeah, so I got $15 to put toward this, and then they've got some I don't like boba, but they got boba drinks. They've got Thai milk tea, which is really good, but I think I'm just going to stick with water. All right, I don't feel like the soup because I have to take everything out. I don't like fish balls, and everything is fish balls. I don't want to take it out. And then the build your own pot, I'd only end up with like 3 things. So I'm going to go with either bulgogi. So I don't know if they can substitute the rice for noodles. I don't know if that would be like a faux pas. It's like, this is Asian food in America, so we can do whatever we want because it's not even the same as in the country that they're representing. No, if you go to like Japan, you don't modify anything. You just get what you get, you eat what you get, and you like it. The other one is the sizzling, signature sizzling. I would do that with lamb, since I haven't had lamb in a while. And that would actually be really good. So either that one or the bulgogi. So I don't know. I think I'll see what they can do. I just don't want a lot of rice. Not that it matters, but I know they all look really good. It looks really good. I just don't feel like modifying, you know, everything because I'll be taking most of the stuff out on the soup. But this is pretty good. I just don't like fish balls and I don't like imitation crab. They have a robot over there. I think they deliver the drinks or the food. I don't know. We'll see. All right, now I'm going to order. I'm going to get bulgogi. Yeah, just get it with the rice. It's fine. Alright, first impressions is actually really, really good. This is super yummy. It doesn't look like much, but I think this will fill me up. Plus, you know, it's minus $15, so it's like a $5 meal, so it's good. Really yummy. Alright, that was actually really yummy. I'm definitely coming back for that bulgogi. So then they sent me another gift card for $10. So the first one was $15, so it's only a $5 meal, and I tipped her $4. I think they just share the tips. It's cold. I'm gonna get my big fuzzy jacket on. I'm gonna go to Smith's. I don't think I have to go to Walmart. Oh my God, tomorrow's Monday. That was such a good ride. I'm so glad I did it today and not Tuesday, but I want to do that ride again next week when I'm back one more time before it's the end of the year. Okay, let's go to Smith's. You know what I just realized? The reason it tastes good is because it tastes like Yoshinoya. And so when I lived in Japan, Yoshinoya was kind of the place that we went to when nobody could decide what they wanted to have. When you have the group, and the group is like the Disneyland syndrome. It's like, what ride do you want to go on? I don't know. What ride do you want to go on? I want to go on Alice in Wonderland. I want to go on Splash Mountain. Okay, nobody can decide. We're all going on Small World 17 times. And now let's come up with a plan. So, yeah. So basically, that's what it was good. It was not like actual bulgogi like you get in Korea or any Korean restaurant. It was fine. But yeah, no, I was eating it going like, why does this bring back all of these warm fuzzy memories of being poor in my 20s? And then I realized it was Yoshinoya. So it was nice to know you, Yoshinoya. I think that's what the phrase was. Okay, so food has been done in my belly. I've got a big ass cup of tea right here. I ran out of creamer, so I had to make the chai, like the powdered chai from Trader Joe's, which I vowed I'd never drink again because I thought that's what was making me all like bloated and stuff, but it wasn't. It was, I don't know, probably something else. But yeah, so I had to make that cup of tea because I don't have any creamer for my real tea. So I'm now going to go in Smith's. It's cold, so let me put I still have flip-flops on. I wear flip-flops until my feet are frozen. Oh my gosh, such a good ride. I'm sorry, I'm like still reeling on like how great that ride was. I was so nervous. I packed a whole 3 days worth of food, and I packed, you know, my glasses and my contact lenses and like 7 chargers and my spare phone and my tracker and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, it was actually really good. I did pee like 4 times. So I found like 4 inconspicuous trees. But yeah, I mean, that was great. That was definitely worth it. And everyone was just super nice. They were really nice on the train. They gave me a sticker. So I have the new sticker for the van. And it was free. The whole day was free, and that dinner was $5. So for everything I did today, it was a $5 day plus like a $3 tip. So it was an $8 day.